What's up, family? So I want to have a conversation, right? And it's obviously, if I'm talking about these things very well and I'm able to articulate myself, it's because I've experienced it and I want to share my experiences, let alone the wisdom that I receive. And I want to have a conversation, right? So we're going to talk about something interesting. And ever been in a situation where you knew something was off? That gut feeling that something wasn't being real with you. And today we're talking about something real sneaky, like sneaky, sneaky. And I guarantee you, some of you have experienced this. And if you have, drop a comment below because we're here to break it all down. And hey, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And this is where the real talk happens. So let's get into it. There are some covert behaviors out there, and if you don't recognize them, you might just get played, and you may have been oblivious to this. You ever been in a relationship where something seemed just fine and then boom, right? Out of nowhere, their whole entire energy just shifts. And you like one day they're all about you, and the next day they're colder than a popsicle in Antarctica. And I just want to let y'all know that that's not an accident. That's a calculated step. And that "oh, you know" moment, because then it catches on when she realizes, fellas and ladies, for fellas that's dealing with a lady, she realizes, "Oh, he knows. He caught on to me." And there's a situation for the ladies where you like, "Oh, he knows I caught on to him," if you know what I mean. And this is where it gets real, because when you start noticing the shifts, right? When you start picking up on the inconsistencies, because everything is a pattern. And the way you realize when something is not real is it's just human behavior. You start to see the patterns isn't following up to what they saying. And then when you question it, oh, don't question them. They crash out on you. And that's when they know you know. And let me tell you, that's when the real fireworks begin. And you ever seen someone straight up just disappear from your life the moment you start connecting the dots? They don't want to be exposed. It's like they hit the self-destruct button and disappear faster than your paycheck on payday. And why does this happen? Because these people, they're players, family, but not in a fun way. They come in smooth. They tell you everything you want to hear. They make you feel special, right? And then once they got you wrapped up, right, they reel you in, the mask starts slipping off. You see the cracks. And when they realize you see them for who they really are, that's when they panic, right? And I give you a real life experience. Um, I had an apartment, right? And I had family help me, with a place to live. It was a family home, but then, however, they moved out without telling me. They got their own space. It was no room for me. But their name was still in the space we originally lived in as family. And however, they didn't want to transition the place over to me, the place that we were originally in as family, even though they left out and got their own place without telling me. And their name was still on in the place that we originally were in, and they were using it as leverage, right? But they were making it like, oh, I want to help you, even though I got my own place. You can still stay in that place. It's just in my name though, right? We don't gotta change nothing. We don't gotta change nothing. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking they family, they looking me out. This is blood family. And the way they used it as leverage was they wanted to act like the landlord. They wanted to act like a landlord to a place that wasn't theirs. It was an apartment. Both places are apartment. Their new place and where we originally lived as, family. Before they just got their spot and didn't tell me until they already got their spot. And they're like, oh, you like my new place? And I'm like, dang, I already felt left out. So, okay, cool. They wanted to transition and do something greater. This is where I'm at though. And I'm glad they understand that, right? That's why they still left me at the original apartment. And I was so oblivious to the simple fact is I thought they were trying to help me, so I didn't pay it no mind for them to change the name of the place, the apartment that I'm still at. And the thing is, they wanted to act like the landlord in the case of if I change something or if I change, if I change the room or rooms around or the one of the room around or the furniture or whatever the case may be, took down a picture frame, asked them that they want the picture frame of the family, because I wanted to revamp and put new pictures up. It was like, oh no, you're not going to be doing all that. This is still my place. It's still in my name. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. I thought you wanted what's best for me. And you let me stay here till I grow and build myself up. And you moved on. So what's the issue? You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking in case you want this picture. I'm just taking it down. I'll put it in a box, but I want to put up new pictures. And the whole mask of thinking they were there to help me and, you know, it didn't matter who name the place was in. They still wanted control over me for the simple fact that I started connecting the dots because they still felt like this is in my name. So this is my place too, where they got two places. And they're like, and I started connecting the dots for the simple fact that it's like, okay, the place they're in is market rate. And that's the place that they qualify for. When you qualify for apartment, that's going by the standards market rate wise. So for example, family, let's break it down from a C student perspective. If your apartment is $2,000 and the property manager and a rental complex will basically say, hey, we need you to prove that the income you're able to sustain this over time and have the sustainability consistency to pay this rent. So we need to see proof, and you have to qualify basically on the standards of making this certain amount of income to pay $2,000 in rent, but also all the other appliances, the fitness center that we have and everything else that we got going on here. And we need to make sure that you don't go into default and go into the negative and go into the red, because you still going to have to live and take all that in place. So you have to make 10 times or 2 times more than what they just expect you to make paycheck wise. But you have to be able to make 2 times more of that so they know you're able to live on your own and be able to sustain these things. Someone looking like they're having your best interest, but they want to make sure they get paid ultimately because it's still a business as an apartment complex. And the place that I lived in originally that I'm still staying in, even though this family member moved, is the place that so it's different between what you qualify for. I gave you that example for what's actually determining rent. You have things like low income, Section 8, things like that. So what is determined of the rent is basically based on how much income you have, and that determines the amount of the rent. So you have one place that's giving you, this is our rent price. You prove to us you're able to sustain and pay this, and we'll accept you and you'll get into your place. And you have one place where it's like, okay, show me what you make and I'll tell you how much your rent is. And this what determines that how much money you're bringing in, which then determines your rent, right? So I was in a place that low income, whatever you want to call it, in regards of determining the rent. And they felt like, oh, if things ever fall and I can't sustain this $2,000 rent, I could go back with family because it's still in my name and I could control them. And they're going to keep my place in their mind. It's not even our place as I'm looking at it. And they're here to help me out. They're like, I'm going to keep my place over there in case stuff hit the fan over here, my new apartment place, even though I left them over there. But the whole strategic calculated thing was to leave me behind so I can be the backup plan in case things don't fall. And I'm basically, they basically did a risky choice of jumping the fence and getting a market rate apartment, but knowing that I was the security blanket because I was holding down the determined rent, the low income place, and they were in the market rate place. So I didn't take no heed of the strategic situation because I thought they were looking me out as I was looking them out. And I thought it was all love, right? They have my best interest, I have theirs. But then reality is their attitudes start to shift. If I say, "Hey, I'm taking this picture frame down, I'm putting a nice Picasso painting or a nice art painting that I really like that gravitates to me," they get angry. "Oh, who you think you are? You think you just could do what you want? It's still in my name. You could get out." And I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Whoa!" It's not even like that. So now I'm walking on eggshells because where I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying, family? And they feel like I got two places. So if this place don't fall through, if I fall through with the $2,000 market rent, I could still go to the low income place. So it was all strategic. And some people will take a risk because they know at the end of the day they have somebody to fall on. They have somebody to fall back on. They have something there as a security blanket that they can run to you. Have you ever felt, family, when somebody that you love continues to do these things, these self-inflicted wounds or make these self-inflicted decisions, then the result is they can't get out of it and they keep coming to you and they know they can depend on you? This was that situation. But at the end of the day, this is why I say they're players. And when you figure them out, and in my situation, I eventually, because it was illegal and it was subbing to have two different apartments, and it's not fair to those who really need low income versus if you in a market rate, then you're abusing the opportunity for those who really need that for a leg up, that really need help out here. It's hard out here. And I'm just trying to make something of myself. And I love this family member. And I'm like, no, they didn't. And I connected the dots and they start threatening to tell me I could get out and saying that I'm too smart for my own good and start deflecting because the thing is, I connected the dots and they know that I knew. So the very thing is, they wanted me to disappear because I caught on to what they were doing. And all I was doing was speaking the truth. And I'm like, how could you do this to me? Right? How could you do this to me? And the thing is, you have to cut them off. That's what you do. No lingering Texas. No, maybe they'll change moments. Just going. Because trust me, these types, they don't change. They just move on to the next person who hasn't figured them out yet. And you're smarter than that. At the end of the day, you got to protect your energy. And if someone's constantly switching up, making you question reality or playing these mind games, it's time to walk away. And those of you who've been through this, tell me in the comments below. And remember, share your stories because trust me, you're not alone. We all go through something. And remember, keep your eyes open and your standards high. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay smart, and I'll see you at the top, family. Peace.